Welcome, everyone, to our deep dive into this book, The Four Agreements. It's by Miguel Ruiz. And I think it's going to be a really fascinating look. I mean, this book, it's a blend of Toltec wisdom with contemporary self-help. And that's a really unique combination, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's resonated with so many people. Because of that, I mean, it encourages us to break free from, the self-limiting beliefs that we all have
Yeah.
and to really create a more fulfilling life, based on just four simple but profound agreements.
So let's just jump right in. The book starts with this idea of domestication.
Hmm.
What is that all about?
Well, Ruiz says that, from childhood, we're domesticated, basically,
Yeah.
by society's rules and beliefs. And we internalize them, so deeply that they shape our reality. And he calls that our personal dream. And so often, we accept these beliefs even if they limit our freedom and happiness without ever questioning them.
So it's like we're living in this world of unspoken rules. We just blindly accept these limitations. That might not even be true.
Exactly. And that domestication leads to self-judgment, unhappiness, and a lot of unnecessary suffering. Ruiz argues that these limiting beliefs are the root cause of, so many of our problems.
It really makes you wonder how much of what we believe is really our own and how much is just inherited from our upbringing in society.
Right. But the good news is that Ruiz offers a path to break free from this domestication, and to reclaim our personal power. And so he introduces the Four Agreements as tools for dismantling these beliefs and creating a new and more empowering dream for ourselves.
That sounds very intriguing. So let's explore those agreements. The first one being, be impeccable with your word. What's so significant about this?
Well, this agreement highlights the incredible power of words. Ruiz reminds us that, words can create, destroy, and even heal. So it's about speaking with integrity, choosing words that uplift and inspire rather than, tear down.
So it's not just about avoiding harmful language, but also being mindful of the impact our words have on ourselves and others.
Precisely. Even the words we use in our own thoughts, our internal dialogue, shape our reality. So Ruiz really encourages us to be mindful of negative self-talk and gossip, because he recognizes that these words can really poison our minds and really limit our potential.
Yeah. It's a powerful reminder to choose our words carefully, both the spoken and the unspoken. I know I've certainly had the experience where negative self-talk can just spiral into like a whole bad day.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that our words really have a creative power. They shape our experiences
Yeah.
and influence the world around us.
The second agreement is don't take anything personally. And this one seems particularly challenging in a world where we're constantly bombarded with opinions and judgment.
It is challenging, but it's incredibly liberating once you grasp it. Ruiz's point is that other people's actions and words are primarily a reflection of their own reality, their own beliefs, their own experiences, rather than a personal attack on us.
So if someone criticizes me, it's more about their own insecurities,
Yeah.
their projections, than about me being inherently flawed.
Exactly. Recognizing this allows us to detach from other people's opinions and avoid taking things to heart. It's understanding that we can't control what others do or say, but we can choose how we react to it.
That's a total game changer. It shifts the focus from feeling victimized by that negativity
Yeah.
to reclaiming our power to choose our response.
Right, and that leads us to the third agreement. Don't make assumptions. Ruiz points out that assuming we know what others are thinking or feeling without seeking clarification often leads to misunderstandings and unnecessary conflict.
Oh, we've all been there. Jumping to conclusions, creating drama based on our own interpretations, rather than communicating openly.
Happens all the time. And it's why Ruiz emphasizes the importance of open and honest communication. He encourages us to ask questions, clarify doubts, and express ourselves directly, rather than filling in the blanks with potentially inaccurate assumptions.
It seems so simple, yet so difficult to practice consistently. We let our insecurities and past experiences color our perceptions, making us prone to misinterpretations.
That's true. And this agreement reminds us to approach interactions, with a beginner's mind, seeking clarity and understanding rather than relying on assumptions.
Okay. And finally, the fourth agreement. Always do your best. This one seems fairly straightforward, but I suspect there's more to it than meets the eye.
There is. Ruiz emphasizes that your best will vary from day to day. Some days you'll be full of energy, you'll be focused. Other days you might be tired or dealing with challenges. So it's not about striving for an unattainable standard of perfection, but about consistently putting in the effort, whatever your best looks like on that particular day.
So it's about accepting that we have limitations, that our capabilities fluctuate, but still committing to putting in the effort consistently.
Exactly. And this agreement encourages self-compassion and releases the pressure of perfectionism, allowing us to focus on the process rather than beating ourselves up, for not always achieving that ideal outcome.
That's a huge relief. It makes the idea of striving for your best feel much more manageable and less daunting.
It does. It frees us to focus on continuous improvement, recognizing that even small efforts, consistently applied, can lead to significant progress over time.
These four agreements, I'm really starting to resonate with them. They offer a clear framework for creating a more peaceful and fulfilling life.
They do. But Ruiz doesn't just leave us with these agreements. He also provides practical methods for dismantling our old limiting beliefs and integrating these new agreements into our lives.
That's what I was hoping for. So what are some of the methods he suggests for breaking free from those old patterns?
He offers 3 key methods: identifying and challenging those fear-based beliefs, practicing forgiveness, and particularly self-forgiveness, and embracing the power of living in the present moment.
Those sound like potent tools for transformation. Can you elaborate on each of them?
Of course. The first method, challenging those fear-based beliefs, that involves becoming aware of the limiting beliefs we hold and consciously questioning their validity. We often accept these beliefs as truth without ever examining whether they serve us or hold us back.
So it's like shining a light on those hidden assumptions. Asking, is this really true? Is this belief helping me or hindering me?
Exactly. The second method, forgiveness, particularly self-forgiveness, addresses the tendency we have to hold on to guilt and resentment, both towards ourselves and others.
Oh, we can be our own worst critics,
Yeah.
carrying around baggage from the past. That prevents us from moving forward.
Absolutely. Ruiz emphasizes that forgiveness is essential for releasing that baggage and creating space for growth and healing. It's about letting go of the past and embracing the possibility of a fresh start.
That resonates very deeply. What about the third method, living in the present moment? I've heard a lot about the importance of mindfulness. How does that connect with breaking old agreements?
Well, living in the present moment allows us to detach from the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future. By focusing on the now, we can make conscious choices, act with intention, and experience life more fully.
So it's about shifting our attention from what was or what might be to what is happening right now.
Precisely. Ruiz reminds us that the past is gone, the future is uncertain, and the only true power we have is in this present moment.
It's like reclaiming our agency by choosing where we place our attention and our energy.
Exactly. And by focusing on the present, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and create space for positive change.
These methods offer a very practical roadmap for applying the four agreements and embarking on that journey of personal transformation. I'm curious to explore how these agreements can be applied, in different areas of life.
That's a great segue into the next part of our deep dives. We can delve into how these agreements can enhance our relationships, improve our communication, and ultimately lead to a more fulfilling and authentic life. One of the most fascinating things about the four agreements is how seamlessly they apply to relationships. It's almost like a relationship guide, woven into this self-help book.
I see that. I mean, each agreement seems tailor-made for navigating the complexities of human connection. Let's explore how they play out in our interactions with others.
Absolutely. Let's start with be impeccable with your word. In the context of relationships, this means communicating with honesty, with kindness, with respect, choosing words that uplift and nurture, rather than tear down.
It's so easy to let those hurtful words slip out, especially in the heat of the moment. So this agreement encourages us to pause, consider the impact of our words before we speak.
It's about creating a safe space for open and honest communication, where both partners feel heard and respected. And Ruiz emphasizes that even seemingly harmless gossip can erode trust and create negativity in relationships.
Yeah, that makes me think about how we talk about our partners sometimes. To friends or family, maybe this agreement challenges us to be more mindful of those conversations too.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that our words have power, whether we're speaking directly to someone or about them. Now let's shift to don't take anything personally, which is especially crucial in relationships where emotions run high.
Oh, absolutely. In close relationships, it's so easy to take our partner's words and actions to heart, interpreting them as reflections of our worth.
Right. Ruiz reminds us that even in the most intimate relationships, our partner's behavior is primarily a projection of their own inner world, their own fears, insecurities, past experiences. It's not necessarily about us.
So if my partner seems distant or critical, it might be stemming from their own stress or unresolved issues, rather than a lack of love for me.
Exactly. By understanding this, we can respond with more compassion, more understanding, separating the person from their behavior. Now, it doesn't mean that we condone hurtful actions, but it allows us to navigate conflict with less reactivity
Hmm.
and more empathy.
It's a powerful shift in perspective. It allows us to approach those challenges with curiosity rather than defensiveness, creating space for dialogue and resolution.
And that brings us to don't make assumptions, which is essential for healthy communication in any relationship.
Oh, assumptions are relationship landmines. They just create misunderstandings, resentment, unnecessary conflict.
They do. We often assume we know what our partner is thinking or feeling without checking in, leading to all sorts of drama.
It's like we're trying to read each other's minds, and we're bound to get it wrong.
Ruiz encourages us to replace those assumptions with open and honest communication. Ask questions, clarify doubts, and express our own needs and desires directly.
So instead of assuming, we can ask, what's going on? How are you feeling? What do you need from me right now?
Precisely. And this creates an environment of transparency and understanding, reducing the likelihood of conflicts based on misinterpretations.
And finally, always do your best in the context of relationships. What does that look like?
Well, it's about showing up for our partners even when it's challenging, putting in the effort to nurture the relationship, even amidst busy schedules and personal stressors.
It reminds me that relationships require ongoing attention and care.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not about grand gestures, but about consistently showing up with love and intention.
And remember, best is subjective. Some days our best will be, a romantic dinner. Other days it might be simply listening with our full presence. The key is to be consistent in our effort and strive for progress, not perfection.
It's about accepting that we're all works in progress, both individually and as a couple, and that relationships ebb and flow. Now, beyond our personal interactions, the Four Agreements also offers insights into how we perceive and interact with the world around us.
Absolutely. Ruiz introduces this idea that our perception of reality is like a dream, a personal interpretation shaped by our beliefs and experiences, not necessarily an objective truth.
So it's like we're each wearing a pair of glasses, with a unique filter coloring how we see the world.
Exactly. And Ruiz argues that many of us are living in a dream of fear, a reality where we're constantly worried about what others think, afraid of making mistakes, holding ourselves back from our true potential.
It's like living in this self-created prison, limited by our own fears and insecurities.
He suggests that by applying the Four Agreements, we can start to wake up from this dream of fear and step into a dream of love, a reality where we're free to be ourselves, to express our creativity, and to experience life with more joy and authenticity.
So it's about shifting our perspective from fear to love, choosing to see ourselves and the world through a lens of compassion and acceptance.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that we have a choice in how we perceive and respond to the world around us. Now let's revisit the concept of domestication that we discussed earlier. Ruiz argues that this process starts in childhood, where we're subtly trained to conform to societal norms and expectations.
So it's like we're taught to fit into a predefined box,
Yeah.
follow the rules, even if those rules don't feel authentic to us.
And this domestication continues throughout our lives. We internalize these societal messages, limiting beliefs, and they become part of our subconscious programming.
It's like we're running on autopilot, living out a script that we didn't even write.
Exactly. And that's where the Four Agreements come in. They give us a way to rewrite that script, to break free from these limiting beliefs and create a new dream for ourselves, a reality that aligns with our true values and aspirations.
It's about reclaiming our power, taking back control of our lives, our thoughts, our actions.
Ruiz suggests that we can start to dismantle those old agreements, those limiting beliefs, by becoming aware of them, questioning their validity, and choosing to replace them with more empowering beliefs.
So it's a process of conscious transformation, choosing to see ourselves and the world differently.
And it's not always easy. It takes effort, self-reflection, and a willingness to challenge those deeply ingrained patterns. But the rewards are immense.
It's like breaking free from chains we didn't even realize were holding us back. It's about stepping into a life of greater freedom, authenticity, and joy. One of the things that struck me about the Four Agreements is its simplicity. The agreements themselves are easy to understand, yet incredibly profound in their implications.
You're absolutely right. Ruiz manages to distill complex spiritual concepts into a set of practical guidelines for modern living.
It's like he's taken ancient wisdom and made it accessible and relevant to our everyday lives.
And he conveys these concepts in a way that's relatable, without sacrificing depth or meaning.
Yeah, it's a book you can revisit multiple times, discovering new layers of meaning each time you read it.
And I think that's part of why it has resonated with so many people. It offers something for everyone,
Right.
regardless of their background or beliefs. It's a book that meets you wherever you are on your journey.
This has been such an enriching dive so far. I'm feeling inspired to re-examine my own agreements, my own beliefs, and make some conscious shifts toward a more fulfilling life.
Me too. You know, one of the things I appreciate about Ruiz's approach is that he doesn't present the four agreements as these rigid rules. He acknowledges that we're all human, we'll make mistakes, we'll have setbacks.
It's not about striving for perfection, but about making progress, one step at a time.
Exactly. And he encourages us to be patient with ourselves, to celebrate our successes, and to learn from our missteps.
It's a message of self-compassion and empowerment, reminding us that we're all on a journey of growth and evolution.
One thing that really stands out is how Ruiz encourages us to take responsibility for our own happiness. He argues that we have the power to choose our thoughts, our beliefs, and our reactions to the world around us.
It's about recognizing that we're not victims of circumstance, but active creators of our own reality.
Exactly. And that's a really empowering message. It puts us in the driver's seat of our own lives.
It reminds us that we have the power to change our thoughts, our beliefs, and ultimately our experience of the world.
The Four Agreements is a powerful reminder that we have more control over our lives than we often realize.
It's an invitation to step into our full potential, to live with greater intention, and to create a reality that aligns with our deepest values and aspirations.
You know, in a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, the Four Agreements offers a sense of peace and clarity. It reminds us that we have the power to choose how we respond to life's challenges, and that by making conscious choices, we can create a more fulfilling and meaningful existence.
It's a roadmap for navigating the complexities of life with grace, wisdom, and a whole lot of heart. You know, as we go even deeper into the Four Agreements, one theme that really stands out is the emphasis on self-love. It seems like the foundation for everything.
Absolutely. It's the bedrock. I mean, without self-love, it's really difficult to fully embrace any of the agreements. You know, how can we be impeccable with our word if we're constantly, berating ourselves? How can we not take anything personally if we lack a strong sense of self-worth?
Yeah, you realize that self-love isn't just this feel-good concept,
Yeah.
but it's essential for personal growth and creating healthier relationships.
Exactly. Ruiz points out that self-love is not about arrogance or vanity. It's about recognizing our inherent worth as human beings, treating ourselves with the same kindness, compassion, and respect that we'd extend to a loved one.
So it's like silencing that inner critic and replacing judgment with acceptance and understanding.
Precisely. And this self-love, Ruiz argues, is crucial for living a truly fulfilling and joyful life. It unlocks our potential, allowing us to embrace our authenticity and create relationships based on love and respect.
Such a powerful message in a world that often tells us we're not enough, pushing us to constantly strive for external validation. But the Four Agreements reminds us that we are inherently worthy, regardless of our achievements or external circumstances.
It's a message we all need to hear, especially in today's fast-paced, image-driven culture.
This deep dive into the Four Agreements has been incredibly insightful. It's given me so much to reflect on, so many tools to apply to my own life.
It's a book that keeps on giving, offering new layers of understanding with each reading.
It's a timeless guide to personal transformation, reminding us that we have the power to create a more joyful, fulfilling, and authentic life.
You know, if you're feeling stuck or lost or overwhelmed by life's challenges, I highly recommend exploring the Four Agreements. It might just change your perspective and empower you to create positive change.
This has been a fantastic journey. Your insights have been invaluable, in helping me grasp the essence of this book.
The pleasure was all mine, really. Sharing this wisdom is always so rewarding.
So for our listeners out there, what's one key takeaway? One question they can ponder as they embark on their own journeys?
I think the most important question to ask yourself is, what agreements am I living by that are no longer serving me? Once you identify those limiting beliefs, you can consciously choose new agreements, ones that empower you, uplift you, and guide you towards a life of greater joy and fulfillment.
That's a powerful question to spark self-reflection and growth. And with that, we wrap up our deep dive into the Four Agreements. Thanks for joining us on this exploration. Keep questioning, keep growing, and keep choosing agreements that lead to a more authentic and fulfilling life.